What's the derivative of f of x equals x to the fourth minus 6? Pause your video and find out. So, using the power rule, all we do here, we bring the 4 down, x, and then we lower the exponent, and the negative 6 goes away. Derivative is 4x cubed. Today we're going to be looking at something called antiderivatives. So, if we start with the function x to the n, the antiderivative is x to the n plus 1 all divided by n plus 1. And we'll deal with this plus c in a second. So let's see how this works real quick. Let's start with something arbitrary. I don't know. How about, say, 4x cubed? Go with that. Let's see how that works out. So, to take the antiderivative of this, which is often shown as a large capital F, we would, let's keep the 4 out front, and then we would take the x, and then n plus 1, so we raise the power to the fourth, and then we're going to divide by this power plus 1. And again, we'll deal with that plus c in a second, but what's going to happen here is this 4 and this 4 are going to cancel out, and you have x to the fourth. In the brain starter, we noticed that if you start with x to the fourth and take a derivative, you get to 4x cubed. The antiderivative is essentially reversing that whole process. So if we start from this, we go to that function. So the rule is always you raise the power of the exponent, unlike the derivative, do the opposite, and then you divide by the new power. So like in our case, it was x to the fourth divided by 4. Now, this plus c, let's think about the brain starter. The brain starter started from x to the fourth minus 6, and then it just went to 4x cubed. But what happened to this minus 6? When we're reversing this, we can clearly see where this 4 comes from, and we can see how the 3 would go to x to the fourth when we reverse it. But since the negative 6 disappears, we really don't know, if we just start with this one, we don't know exactly how to get to this minus 6 right now. So the plus c just means it's a constant. Just any old number with no x term. So in our case, we'll go back to the antiderivative here, and it's x to the fourth plus c. Because honestly, it could have been anything. It could have been x to the fourth minus 608. And we still would have gotten a derivative of 4x cubed. Alright, let's practice some of these. So, remember, the antiderivative is a capital F. So with this, we'll keep the 3 out front, just as a constant term. Then we're going to raise the exponent from 2 to 3, and then divide by 3. Boom, boom, cancel, cancel. That equals x to the third, and don't forget plus c. It's just a constant term, could be any number you want. Now let's try this one out. First, let's rewrite the original function because it's a little difficult to deal with x's that are in the fraction. So if we just keep the negative 8 there, then we're going to rewrite this as x to the negative 9. Now we're ready to work this out. Now we can find the antiderivative same way as always. So we'll keep the negative 8 out front, and then times x, add 1 to negative 9, and you get negative 8. Yeah, check on that, it's true. Then divide by the new exponent, negative 8. And again, what happens really nicely here is this negative 8 cancels with that negative 8, and we're left with x to the negative 8, and don't forget plus c.